Hi everyone, I'm Linda with Life on Summerhill and welcome to my bathroom. Today I'm showing you how to paint over wallpaper. If you're like me, you absolutely detest removing wallpaper. So follow along and I'll show you the tips that Sherwin-Williams has shown me to paint over your wallpaper if your wallpaper is securely adhered to your wall. So let's get started. After you've cleared out everything in your bathroom, make sure everything's off the counters. I would even remove everything off the floors. Just clean out the space so that you have a clean slate to paint your wallpaper. The next thing I recommend is take some regular distilled white vinegar and put about a cup of it into some water, like so. And then start wiping down the walls. And this is going to remove anything on your wallpaper that basically your paint would have issues adhering to. Now I'm keeping this is where a towel bar hung. So I'm keeping that. So I'm going to paint around these rather than remove them. But if you have any Okay, the next thing we need to do is we need to go through any spots like this, and we're going to take some caulk and caulk it down real good so that it doesn't show when we paint over it. The next step, we're going to take a little bit of caulk and we're going to fill it into all the areas where there is wallpaper coming up. So what you do is you just run your finger into that spot and smooth it down. So what I did first was I kind of ran the caulk under it and then I smoothed it over it. So I'm using my finger to basically press that wallpaper back into its spot. If you're good at painting without taping, then you won't need to tape any of your trim. But if you have a mirror like I do, and this mirror you're worried about paint getting behind it, I would tape it here along the edge. And I did that on both sides. As you can see, it's over here also. To begin, we're going to put a bonding primer on the wall, and Sherwin-Williams recommends an oil-based Pro Blocker primer. I do want to caution you that it is not an easy cleanup as far as just water and soap. You'll need some mineral spirits to clean up. Or you can just plan on trashing your roller, not your frame, but just the roller and your paintbrush if you have an old paintbrush. I have quite a few paintbrushes, so I'm going to trash this one when I'm done. And I'm also wearing gloves just so I don't have to deal with my hands, clean out my hands afterwards. Another thing I wanted to share with you, open your window so you can get some ventilation in here. It'll help with the fumes. It's not good to be breathing in fresh paint, so open your windows. Alright, so what I recommend is you start like in one part of the room and move your way around. And since my mirror's here, I'm going to start right here where I taped off the mirror. I generally cut in first. That's kind of my technique. And I'm sure different people have different ways of doing things, but I have found cutting in first works for me. Now another tip is if you take the top off of your toilet, if you take this piece off, you can get down behind it a little bit easier. And I also taped the top part of my toilet. Okay, so we've got it primed with an oil-based primer. It was very strong. We have the window open. My husband, actually I started out wearing the mask, but because my husband has asthma, he took it over. But it's all primed. I do want to show you this. This little area up here, the border is come up a little bit, and I'm gonna put some trim up there to secure that down. It's actually coming down here too. Okay, so once you have all your trim in place, covering where your seams were, you might find that you have a few areas where it didn't work out for your seam. So in this situation, I had a towel bar, so I had to, there's my seam, and I had to move my trim over here. So now I'm going to use some spackle and basically brush it over these seams and smooth it out. So now that we've got the primer finished, it's time for us to paint over it with a good one coat paint. And this new paint by Sherwin-Williams is called the Emerald Designer Edition. The neat thing about this paint is that it has a very white base coat. So basically when they are able to mix more richer and more saturated colors. It also comes in its own color line, and this is just one of the pamphlets that shows you the colors that you get to choose from. So the color I picked for this bathroom is over here, and it's Ghosted. Whoops. It's the color Ghosted right here. And but as you can see, there's lots of beautiful farmhouse colors in here that you can choose from. So let's get started, and we will paint on this Emerald Designer Edition paint over the oil-based primer. So we're all finished with the bathroom, and I wanted to share that we added this accent wall in the color Interesting Aqua. This is not part of the Emerald Designer collection. Just the white color, which is Color Dashing, is a part of that collection. But just sit back and enjoy a little tour of the bathroom all completed for phase one. We actually have more work to do, but we'll share that with you later.